Another big part of the market is all these private companies, right? We talk a lot on this show, in general in the journal about the number of companies that are staying private longer. Sometimes that's like a startup company that just sort of delays its IPO for a long time. But sometimes those are like big established companies that are owned by private equity funds. There's a lot of talk of exits. It's hard for those companies to get exits. We've written a lot about the challenge that private equity firms have had finding exits for those companies. One of the big exit pathways is IPOs. Does that tell us that there's a lot of pent-up demand for IPOs, or does it tell us that the IPO market isn't that sort of great of an exit path for a lot of these companies because maybe the public market isn't willing to pay what they think the company's worth? It just seems like that's a complicating part of the market these days.
Interesting. I have a slightly different take on it.
Okay.
I would say you're right. The private market has been very robust, especially over the last 2 to 3 years. It's flexible capital. You have a number of investors who invest in privates, of course, private equity, but sovereign wealth fund, pension fund, and some public dedicated investors who have set up some private funds. So there's a lot of demand.
Right.
It's flexible, and I think it allows companies to stay private for longer while accessing the market. I still think at the end of the day, a number of those companies will come public because the access to the public equity markets is really strong and very helpful. The acquisition currency, the branding. So I still think that IPOs is going to be the end result of many of those processes, but they're not mutually exclusive.
Interesting.
I think it just gives corporates more flexibility and option as they think about raising capital between private and public. And you'll see a number of the IPOs we're bringing to market have had several rounds of private capital raised pre-IPO. And I think on the sponsor side, on the private equity side, yes, they do have a number of assets that have become relatively large and that would definitely be ready for the IPO market. Private equity are very financially sophisticated investors. They realize that the IPO market is healthier, and so there's definitely a pickup in dialogue on that.